how my husband died suddenly. We travel to the village every Easter for Easter celebrations. We normally go to our grandma's house and celebrate Easter. After the celebration, we go back home. So on this fateful day, my sister-in-law wanted to go visit some of her family members in another house. So she said I should follow her. Then I followed her to the house. So we greeted everybody there. On our way out, some group of guys followed us and said they wanted to escort us back home. We agreed. We're walking back to our house, but I was not familiar with them, so I wasn't saying anything. A guy came up to me and was like, "Hello, why are you quiet? What's happening?" And I was like, "Well, maybe because I'm not familiar with you guys, so that's why I was quiet and I didn't say anything." He introduced himself to me and I did same. Then we got talking. They escorted us to our house and I exchanged my number with him. So in the evening, we had crusade that day in the village. I went to the crusade with my cousin. Then I met him there again. We got talking and we familiarized with each other. We decided to plan our meeting when we go back to my mom's house. That's in the city. He was also working in another town. He came for Easter in the village too, in his grandma's house. We got talking, then he now asked me of my age. I had told him that I was 18 years old and he was 29 years old. He felt bad when I told him I was 18 years old because of the age gap, and at that time he really liked me and wanted to get serious with me and marry me, but because I was too young, he was sad. But somehow he said he was going to wait for me until I'm matured enough so we can get married. Then I agreed. So he kept calling me every year to remind me that he loves me and whenever I'm ready, he is ready. So I remember 2020, December, I was 20 years old. So I called him and I told him I was ready to marry him. He was so happy. He came to visit me 2 days after. 1 week after, we went to see his parents. Everybody was so excited. He just wanted to marry me. Remember I told him that I was ready December 2020. So around April 2021, we got engaged. Ending April 2021, he paid my bride price. We had our traditional wedding. Then we finally got married November. Everything was going perfectly fine. I was in my 200 level, so we agreed we were not going to conceive until I was in my 400 level, since he worked in another place and I was also schooling in another place. So most times I was always at home alone. So we agreed we're not going to conceive until I was in my 400 level. My marriage was perfect. It was what I wanted. I enjoyed every bit of it. He was a wonderful person, like he was God sent. I enjoyed everything. He was nice, he was kind, he was God-fearing, he loved me, he cared for me. Everything I wanted, I got. 2020 in September, on a Saturday, I woke up that morning and somehow I didn't want to go to work because I was in a fashion school, and that day we're going to learn how to sew shirts for guys. So I was like, I don't want to go. He looked at me and was like, I paid a lot of money, auntie, you must go. I was like, okay, fine. As I left, I went to school. So I normally come back around 3. So when I was coming back, my mom called that my sister came over. She came for Omega. So she told me she came over. So she said my sister bought some stuff for me. I was like, okay, fine. From school, I'll be coming there to get the thing. So I called him. I told him that I'm going to my mom's house to get some stuff that my sister bought for me. He said, okay, fine, no problem. When I got to my mom's house, I got the things. Then it was like 6 p.m. already. I left home. I left my mom's house back to my house. So when I dropped at the junction, I walked to my house. On reaching there, my neighbor was outside. So we exchanged pleasantries and she said, your husband just entered the house now. Like, okay, on getting to my room, I felt someone fall in the bedroom. I didn't see him when I entered. Actually, he was taking his bath, so I felt a fall from the bathroom. Because sometimes I fall, then he will come and laugh at me and say, you don't have stamina. So when I heard the fall, I started laughing at first because I was like, Mr. Stamina, what happened to you? You don't have stamina all of a sudden. But everywhere was so quiet. It was so quiet. I was like, what's happening? Oh yeah, let me go and check this man. I opened the door. Then I saw his legs shaking. They were shaking. His face, his eyes were closed. Like he couldn't talk. Oh my God. Then I shouted. Then my neighbor came in and asked what happened. I told her that I don't know. I just heard him fall from the bedroom and I came in and I saw him in this condition. So my neighbor started calling people. People came and we rushed him to the hospital. I don't even know where they got the car from. I just know that a car came, they carried him. We entered the car, I was sitting in front. They didn't allow me to sit together with him at the back. Some guys were holding him at the back. So we got to the first hospital, a government hospital, and they said that there was no doctor available in the hospital. You can imagine, a very big government hospital, no doctor available. And our case was an emergency case. The nurse told us that she could not treat it, only a doctor could, so we should find another hospital. And it was Saturday evening. There was traffic everywhere. We had to find our way to another private hospital. But before we got there, he died. At first, I didn't know he died. When we got to the private hospital, the people we went with did not allow me to come close to him because they said I should stay far away and just pray for him. I already called his dad and his mom. They were already on our way. So immediately they came. I did not know he was dead. The dad went to see the doctor and I think the doctor told him that he was gone. But I didn't know he was gone. Then the dad told me that he's going to be fine, that we should go to another government hospital. So when we got to the government hospital, they told us to go and stay in one place. Then my neighbor came to meet us. So I was praying, I prayed. Oh my God. I prayed. Nobody was telling me anything. They were all looking at me. Nobody was saying anything. Then my mother-in-law came to me and she held me and was like, Sarah, you will be fine. I was like, no, I don't need to be fine. I'm not sick. Like, I need my husband to be fine, not me. I'm not the sick one. But she kept on saying, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. What is the problem? What is happening? Tell me. They said I'll be fine. Then our pastor just came up to me. I was like, Sarah, your husband is with the Lord. Oh my God. I've never felt that pain before in my life. I didn't know what to do. I was 23 years old. I was confused. I was sick. I felt the world was coming to an end. I just felt the ground should open and swallow me. I felt a lot. I just wanted to die. I couldn't think well. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't even see well. That was the worst feeling ever. And nobody, like I said, nobody should experience that kind of pain. So when we got to the house that night, I was so surprised that my best friend was already waiting for me in the house. I was still in pain, but seeing her, I felt relief. My mother-in-law did not cry. Instead, she held me and was telling me that I was going to be all right. Same with my father-in-law. My mom came over that night. They were all there for me. They supported me. My mother-in-law, that woman is an angel. She supported me. She was there for me. She made sure I had everything. My friends were there. My friends left their work. They left everything they were doing to be with me at that time. Everybody was just there for me. Few days later, we went to the village for the burial. Everybody was sad. We buried him and his extended family supported me. They said I could stay in the house for as long as I wanted to stay. That really helped because people were around me, people that loved me were around me, and the family really supported me. We buried him and we went back home. after the burial, the next month, I was still in school. I was in my 300 level at that time. I wrote exams. It was not easy. I remember that was the worst result I had throughout my life, because that was like a month after I lost my husband. It was not easy moving on, for the fact that I had planned my life with this person. Everything around me was him. It was all him, and nobody else. Then imagine starting all over again. It was really not easy. Sometimes I don't sleep at night. I remember the first day I had my papers, I cried that night. I couldn't even read. I just went and I wrote whatever it is that was in my head, and I left the exam. After that, it wasn't easy, because whenever I get someone wanting to be intimate with me, I always have this problem of comparing the two of them. And when I see that this guy is not up to my late husband, or I let him go. My late husband was someone that was exceptional. He was every woman's dream. He was perfect. As time went by, I think I'm getting better each day. My name is Sarah, and this is my story.